Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and I am here for a discussion video. And for this discussion video I'm going to be talking about extreme metal, and this mainly applies to death metal, black metal, and melodeath. Now you could make a debate on whether or not melodeath is extreme metal, but I figured that I would throw that on the list as well. Now this is actually something I've been wanting to talk about for a little bit now because, well, this is a subject that I've definitely been seeing a lot with the metal community, and I want to talk about why it's not as essential as some metalheads claim it to be. Now, first of all, I would like to say that I think one of the biggest problems is with the extreme metal community is the fact that this, I feel like, has the most metal elitists. I think, when most people, including myself, think of, the subgenres that have the most metal elitist, it is usually the extreme metal community that almost immediately comes to mind. As a matter of fact, probably immediately comes to mind for me. Mainly people that, prefer death metal and black metal over pretty much anything else. Now, I would like to make a disclaimer. If you do like this style of music, if you like extreme metal, like if you like death metal and black metal and melodeath, like if you just genuinely enjoy this style of music, that is totally fine by me. I personally do not have an issue with that. But I just don't think, people should, have an elitist attitude about it. Just crap on everyone else that, may not be able to take heavier music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I especially don't understand these elitists that, crap on people that listen to completely different genres, like pop music. Like, I mean, as a person who'd consider myself a rocker and a metalhead, because I do love both, I just know that's not reality. It's not gonna be an easy task converting a pop listener over to metal, much less, extreme metal. I mean, if they're going to get into metal, it's going to be, more radio-friendly metal. And that is a big maybe. So you got to really think realistically about that as well. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, a lot of these elitists that even crap on people that are also metalheads. You know what I'm saying? And I think that really does show how diverse metal really is. And it kind of defeats this argument about, metal not really being a very diverse genre. But it's actually a very diverse genre, probably the most diverse genre of music out there. And, maybe some non-metalheads might think, all screaming, what kind of diversity is that? And it's pretty clear that they haven't looked into it enough. That's why they have that assumption, of course. And I feel like a lot of these metalheads that do listen to these extreme styles, mainly the metal elitists. I understand it doesn't apply to every single person that listens to this style, but a lot of them, yeah, they can be elitists, and they have this attitude that, like, oh, if you're not into death metal or black metal, you're not a real metalhead. And this is something I feel like is really dumb, because I've personally had contact with a metal elitist before who walked away from my channel, used to be a subscriber of mine, and this person claimed that I sold out because I wasn't a big fan of melodeath anymore like I used to. But the thing is, I've had many musical changes throughout my musical journey. That's nothing new for me. So I don't know why this person, had to make a big deal out of that, Now, sure, people can make a decision on whether or not they want to walk away from my channel. That personally doesn't bother me, but I just think it's a little ridiculous, honestly. But yeah, I just think it's a little silly how, some people think that, like, you have to be into extreme metal if you want to be a metalhead. And I feel like this really obligates people in a negative manner, because a lot of people, try to get into this style of music, but really aren't into it, but try to get into it because they feel that it's essential to be a metalhead. Unfortunately, there's a lot of metalheads that think the heavier you go, the more of a metalhead you are, which is definitely something I've said before. And they think that, like, if you reach the maximum heaviness, then you're the most metal, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. It's silly and it's ridiculous, and I don't understand where this concept came from. Like, where did this idea come from where metalheads had to get into the heaviest thing possible in order to be the most metal. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people act like extreme metal, like death metal and black metal, like a lot of bands in those subgenres were the pioneers of metal in general. And this is an argument that I always bring up, because what I think of an essential metalhead band, bands that come to mind for me are Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Metallica, mainly older styles of heavy metal. Like, it's usually the older bands that I think of when I think of bands that are essential, or, subgenres that are essential. Now, there's not really a subgenre that I would say is essential in particular, but I would just say it's more so about the bands, like I said, of course. Now, like I said, I don't have a problem if people do like extreme metal, like death metal and black metal and stuff, because I do understand that a lot of metalheads do like this style of music. That personally doesn't bother me. You can like it if you want, but, don't crap on people who, don't like it. And, maybe there's a reason that some people don't like it. Maybe they just personally can't take super brutal, heavy stuff. Maybe they just have a low tolerance to that. But that doesn't mean that they're not a metalhead because they can't take the heaviness of extreme metal. And that doesn't mean that, they're completely dismissive of scream vocals, because maybe some people that, aren't into extreme metal, maybe they like metalcore, and a lot of metalcore does have scream vocals, of course. And we all know how some of these extreme metalheads view metalcore. They view it as like, that's what the weak metalheads listen to. Or, people will, label many things when it comes to metalcore, especially the extreme metal community. Now, like I said, this doesn't go for all of them, but if we're honest here, a lot of them do have that attitude. And it's honestly ridiculous, and it needs to stop, honestly. Now, it also could just be because of taste. Maybe some people can't get into extreme metal because maybe it's just not their personal taste. So maybe it's either because they can't tolerate the heaviness that's within extreme metal, or it's just not their personal taste. Or maybe it's a combination of both. For me, I'm personally not a fan of extreme metal at all. As you guys know, I used to like Melodeath. Now, once again, you could make the argument about Melodeath being, categorized as extreme metal or whatever. But I just had to realize that just wasn't for me. It's just, that wasn't really a subgenre, or, that really wasn't, a part of my musical journey that was really meant to stay. And people like that metal elitist that walked away from my channel, crapped on me for that, of course. Claimed that I sold out to the mainstream because, I prefer classic rock over extreme metal now, which is just really silly to me, since, you can't, as far as, rock and metal goes, you can't get more real than the classics, if we're honest here. But yeah, I don't understand these people that say that, the super brutal heavy stuff, like extreme metal and all that, I don't understand why they say it's so essential. I don't understand why they say that it's this essential. And newsflash, it's not as essential as some people claim. I think some people claim it to be because, it is, fairly popular due to the heaviness. But it's not like these bands in extreme metal started the metal genre. That to me would be my definition of essential, is, the bands that started the genre. Not the heaviest bands out there, you know what I'm saying? So it's just something that I find a little silly, in my opinion. But like I said several times, you can like this style of music if you want. I don't care about that, but this is definitely something that I had to bring up. This doesn't mean that, you should still, claim this to be super metal essential or whatever, because it's really not. I never understood why. Now, I know some people might say, well, ask this metalhead or that metalhead, but those are also people that listen to extreme metal. And who are they to establish what is most metal? You know what I'm saying? So that's my video, guys. That's what I just feel like I have to speak my mind about this because, well, you guys know that I do speak my mind. And yeah, I feel like I did have to talk about this. I feel like this is definitely something I had to talk about because it's kind of ridiculous. But either way, let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with what all I had to say here? Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and take care.